Okay, let's continue to discuss about the Dubai property trends and expectation for the future. First of all, Dubai is a small city. The population is like 3 millions. Compared with other big cities like the New York, London, which is very small, Dubai here. But because it is small, so it is growing city. So I had a very good and high expectation for this city. And living here, I enjoy the life here. So I hope the city will become better and better. Um, like most of the city, the properties market, they always had the like the period and the cycles. What I'm talking about the cycle is like the recovery, prosperity, pro- prosperity, decline and depression, and then again recovery. So the market always goes circles like this. And what is the impact for this circle and what made it change? So I think normally it's the three factor which I always considering. One is the population, second is location, number three is finance. For the long term is the location, for the mid term is location, and for the short term is like the finance impact. So that is a very key factor to have a very big influence in the property market. Um, Dubai, in fact, is quite young city as I say. Here there's a data from the Development Department from the 1995 until nowadays 2022. Um, from 1995 until 2005, I can say that this is like a very silent period because at that time, most likely the who is buying the property in Dubai here, most likely is the local people who buy the property, build the property, and then rent it to the foreigner who come to living here. Dubai is a city is 80%, maybe 89% or 90% is the expat. Only 10% is local people. So you can imagine that 90% the people living here is the foreigner. Um, from 2006, so the government announced some policies and allowed the foreigner to own the properties in some areas. So that has become I cannot say the booming, but the Dubai property market start to growing very fast. Um, okay, let's chat one by one. As I say, number one, the impact for the property market itself is the population. Dubai population, we had the data here. Okay, this is not the Dubai population, it's the UAE population, but it's kind of a difference. Mm. So in 1995, in fact, in the UAE, it's only allowed 2.4 million people, and nowadays more than 10 million. So totally it's like four times increase for the population itself. And during the 2005 and from 2005 to 2009, and every year, basic average is more than 10% of population increase in Dubai here. So the population increase, of course, increasing the demand for the house itself, no matter the rental market or the purchasing market. I believe they had a very big impact here. So when we see data, in fact, yes, we can see the growing for the property sales. Here's the apartment data, apartment sales, and also same like the villa also from 2,000 unit level until 14,000 level, something like that. So we can see that yes, the big increase for the population is that it did create the increase for the house demands in the market. So that's very obviously. But Dubai population, I mean, it start to slow down after the 2009, and then nowadays every year during last until 2020, the Dubai's population in fact had a very limited growing. But for the export, maybe for the export reasons, 2021 and 2022 now, we had record for the allowed 6 and 5% population increase here. So property market also growing. It's very fast. It's also very special periods. Um, This is one of the factor. I think for the long term, we can see from long term the population indeed had a very big impact for the market itself. Second factor we're talking about sort of location. Here has some data for the most popular apartment or the villa townhouse in Dubai here. So I only pull out the 2 years data. In fact, the 14 months data, because now only until the end of February. The very hot place is like Dubai Marina, Business Bay, JVC, JLT. This kind of area is a very hot place for the apartment sales. For the villa side, for the villa tower size, Arabian Range 3, Dubai Hill, Thais, Orgaf, Jabali Village, Dubai Hills 2 or Dubai Hills something, some area which is popular during these 2 years. You can check by yourself. You can make the screen cut and check by yourself. So yes, location also is one of the factor because most people like to buy the popular place, which always had the people to buy. You know, in the future you are not worried that your property is very difficult to sell out when once you want to leave the country or you want to change a big house. You have to make sure that your property can keep the value instead of losing the value. Number three factor, in fact, one of the key factor which I want to talking here. I want to talk here is the finance. Finance mean how to say that the financial situation for the whole country, the country situation, or the globals, in fact, something like that. One of the key is example. One of the key which I consider as the finance factor is like the oil price, because UAE is like a country who had a oil resource, which create a lot of incomes and for the country itself. And if the oil price is going up, of course, the country incomes become more and more. But who is the benefit from the oil price up? Of course, not all the people. As I say, 90% the people who live in here is a foreigner. It's not the local people. So oil price only benefit for the very limited percentage of people, which I think. It will have some effects for the property market, but I consider it's not the biggest effect. But of course, when you see here the oil price increasing, the property the sales are also increasing. But we also see that when the price increasing, also had a decline for the property sales itself. So we cannot say it had a 100% very close connection between the oil price and the property sales. Yeah. Number two factor for the finance, which is the key point, which I want to highlight, is the bank interest rate. Bank interest rate, I think, is really the key factor for the finance for the property market itself. Here's the data for the central bank, UAE central bank yearly interest rate. This is a 1 year interest rate. Normally, of course, when you get the mortgage from the bank, the interest rate, of course, it will be a little higher. Will be higher than the central bank's yearly interest rate, which is published in the central bank's website. We can see here from 2008 until 2014. Here's the interest rate is decreasing. It's decreasing, which means that when you get the mortgage from the bank side, you had a very low interest, and also maybe you are more easily to get a loan from the bank, and that money is pump up the market in the property market itself. So we can see that in general, once the interest rate going down, the property sales is going up, and the price also, especially for the existing property sales, is going up here. So this is a very clear chance. Of course, price also go up when the property sales quantity become big, and for the villa also saying we can see that the growing and the price increasing here. But of course, it is up and down. I mean, it's not 100% for the for this connection, but most likely, I think for the apartment which is facing majority of the population, I think that is the very close impact. But because the villa or the townhouse, that is for the rich people, I can say that for the villa, townhouse, big house is for the rich people. Maybe for them the interest rate is not that capital sensitive, but for the normal income, middle income people, for the interest rate is definitely it's a very big impact. And who is the majority for the market buyer? So at the same time, we can see that once the interest rate is going up, of course the sales is going down something. So we can see the trends. So that's why I say had a very close impact for the interest rate itself. Is I can say it can decide the direction for the property market. Yeah, this is what I want to say. So if the interest rate is so important, so what is the future chance? Future chance in the 2022, because now only March of the 2022, so we're going to see what will happen during the rest of the year. In fact, if you are always watching the central bank interest rate like me, you will find out that until end of March end of February, the central bank interest rate already increased a lot from the average 0.5% in the 2021, and nowadays only 2 months already come up to the 1.41, which is almost 3 times of the average of the 2021. So there is the very clear signal that the bank is going to control the mortgage, the loan, the interest rate of the property market. And I assume that the government and the central bank try to control don't let the property market go long, because we had a very big crisis during the 2008, which is a disaster for the property market. So we cannot create the bubble again. So I think the government is to try to take some policy and using the interest rate to control this bubble, because we cannot see, we don't want to see the price for the property itself going up crazy, which is cause the total country's inflation, which is we don't want to see this bad stuff come out. And another reason is that UAE, the local currency, the UAE dirham is directly connect with the US dollar, basically had a fixed exchange rate. So basically we can say that the UAE is the government, the central bank's interest rates always need to follow the trends of American. So we already know that in American, maybe March timing, if you had the announcement for the interest rate increase. So I think the government in advance already take the action and already start to increase the interest rate, which is now 1.4. So I think during the in the market nowadays, for the people who want to buy the property, buy the mortgage, also you're facing the difficulty, or the bank will be a little strict for the release the mortgage itself. So I also have data which is this is the yearly mortgage release every year from the bank, all kind of commercial banks in Dubai here, and we had the data until nowadays. In fact, until nowadays, here. It's allow 13 children, until now it's the beginning of the March. Um, if we compare with the last year, I mean, example using this times 6, I mean, now uh, only one of the 6 of the years, just past one of the 6 of the year. So if times 6, we can compare with the last year. What's the difference? So we can see that in fact, compared with the last year, apple to apple, the central bank is reducing the loan to the market, which is very clear, and in fact, it's a decrease allow almost 40%, 37%, almost 40%. So it means that the bank intentionally to stop the money going to the property market. So from this data itself, I think it's very, very, very clear signal. So the government is put their hands on the market. So they want to control it. So I think we should not go against the government, because now the big chance is like this. The central bank is increasing interest rate and control the mortgage releasing in the market. So surely we will facing the declines for the property market. So this is my estimation. But on the other hand, we also can see that if we compare with the property sales itself, example this for the apartment sales itself, it's still increasing. It's 33% compared with the last year until today, and I think yes, I think it's the market is still hot. I mean, because during last year the property sales and also the property price, we can see that it's really increasing a lot, and not a lot, but 40% of the 12%, which is already very high, because during the last, you can say the last 7 years, the Dubai's property market is very, very down, and uh, and the 2021 is really a crazy year for the Dubai property market, not only for the apartment but also for the villa itself. Also, the sales is increased a lot compared with the previous years, but this is a little unusual. So it's a little unusual. It's a little how to say that, it's a little weird, and it's not healthy situation, because the price over high is super high, and then many people it become not easy for the normal people to afford a house, and the rental fee also increasing. Um, that's why I think the government is going to make turn. So that's why the interest rate increasing, and reduce the loan to the market. So I think so within this year, the trend will change. And especially I'm a little afraid that like the 17th of March 2022 this year now, US is going to announce whether they are going to increase the interest rate. So if this happen, I think UAE also they will take further increase. I mean, increase more for the bank interest rate, and and for the property market maybe will crash maybe. So I cannot say this is, if Dubai property price drop a lot during this year, I cannot say it's a good or no good. For the people who already invest for the property, of course, it's no good, because of the property, your property price is dropping. But for the people who not yet buy the property, maybe it become more affordable for most of the people who really uh, want to buy the property here. So, but I believe that some super high price in shares price is not healthy. So I personally I agree with the by government's movement. We have to control the price. We cannot uh, let the markets go crazy. That kind of crazy. I think that's not what we want. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, for the last, let me share some information for some very hot properties, the chance every year, so that you can understand that which location is quite popular. So first of all, let's have a look for the villa itself. So I list up all the villas project. You can see here from 1997, 1997, 1997. Who is the which area is the most popular? It's like Jumeirah area, but at that time, the market is still not yet developed. The sales quantity is very small, and then slowly, year by year, prices are changing, and then from 1998, Madif become the number one sales of the villa area, and then in fact I already list up here, during the 1998 until 2005, Madif always the number one sales for the villas area, and then come to the Jumeirah Island, and then come to the Emirates Hill. While Emirates Hill also from 2007 until 2012, uh, Emirates Hill was a very hot place for the villa sales itself. And then come to Emas Mila Villas, and then Damat Akoya, and then Jabali Hills, and then Akoya, and then Arabian Range 3. And then 2020, the new place, new villa project, Thai Agaf, which is developed by the Afte Group, which has become very hot set during the year. And then Arabic Range 3, and then Damat Lagons. Uh, for the total, we can see that which areas sell most of the villa is like the Arabic Emirates Hills Villa, Arabic Range 1, the Villa or the Arabic Range 3, JLT or the Jumeirah Island, etc. So these pages give you a lovely idea which area is a popular place in Dubai here for the villa sales. Then we see the apartment. I also do the summarize same, and then I also highlight number one here. We can see that from the very beginning, the Marina is always the hot place, number one of the total Dubai. It's number one area for the apartment sales. And then in some year from 2014 until 2018, the Business Bay also become the number one popular. And then Marina and then Business Bay. So we can see that Marina, Business Bay, JLT, International City, Downtown Dubai, JVC. So this is always the hot area for the apartment sales. And yeah, so this is only a figure which let you understand the chance. But when you buy a property, you have to consider your own situation. Even there are some hot place um, in Dubai, but you are not necessary to buy there because of your working location, which is far away. That doesn't make sense. So um, I want to say that the most suitable property always is the best for you. I mean, if you're nearby your working place, I know now during the pandemic, maybe most of the people is working from home, but yeah, finally we will go to work, right? So choose the most convenient location. Um, that is the best do for you to choosing the property. So I hope that you made a good deals in the property investment. So I'm glad to make today's information sharing. I hope that you are benefit from it. Thank you so much.